and welcome to the latest of our macrame tutorials. This tutorial is for a slightly more complex wall hanging. You may have seen it on our social media. It's got a crystal attached within the wall hanging, and I've had quite a lot of you asking for the pattern. Now I'm not going to do it as a kit because you can choose your colour and then you can just follow this tutorial and it would you can do it to suit yourself then. Okay, and if you want to add a crystal, then you might have one to hand, or you know, you could always just send me a message because I've got lots of crystals. So for this wall hanging, we're going to use a 30cm wooden dowel, and I've got a 4mm single twist cord. This one's an olive colour. I'm a fan of green and calm, so I really like this olive colour. And I'm going to be using a lark's head knot, a square knot, double half hitch knots, which is going to make this diamond with a double square knot. Then I'm going to show you how to make this plait, which I love these plaits, really pretty. And yeah, then I'll show you how to add a crystal. Got some more square knots, more double half hitch knots, and that's all you need to know. Now, if you need a refresher on the basic knots, there are other tutorials on our channel to give you a reminder. I'll go through them with you as we go, but you might just want a bit of a practice if you need a refresher. Okay, so grab everything you need, get your dowel. I'm working on my hanging rail today just because we're using long cords, so it's much easier, and you're just less likely to get all your cords tangled. Yeah, grab yourself a cup of tea, get your scissors, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so I have cut my 22 4-metre cords and I've got them hanging ready, which I find useful rather than cutting one at a time. I cut all my cords, hang them, and then I've got them to work with straight away. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach all 22 cords to our dowel with a lark's head knot. So this is how you do your lark's head knot. So take one of your cords and you're going to find the other end. Try not to drop your dowel. It gets easier once you've got the cords on. There we go. So find your ends and make them meet. So there you are. Okay. And then when you work back, you're going to have even length cords to work with them. So there's my loop, okay? Now that loop is going to go over the dowel, okay? I'm going to open the dowel, open the loop, and then I'm going to pull those two cords all the way through, which again, when you first start doing this, because you've got long cords, takes a little minute. And then you want to gently pull that cord so it sits nice and snugly against the dowel, okay? And because we're doing the regular lark's head knot, we will have the cord coming round to the front of the wall hanging rather than the reverse where you've got the two cords coming out. Okay, I'm having it that way. So we're going to repeat that with all 22 cords. So I'm going to take another cord. I'll show you once more. Okay. cords get tangled quite easily, which is why it's useful to have them hanging up. Okay, so there we go, 2 ends together. Then come to the other end and you should have the loop. There we go. Loop over, open the loop and pull the cords through without, let's do that again, without dropping the cord at the dowel. Loop over, pull your cords through. Okay, and there you go. All right, so you're going to repeat that with all 22 of your cords, and then we'll be ready to make the square knots. So if you do that now, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, so all of the cords are attached with a lark's head knot, and now I'm going to begin to make a first row of square knots. So if you need a reminder for the square knot, you are going to take the first 4 cords, make sure you're not tangled. Okay, it is a bit heavy with cords when you first start, okay, because they're so long, but take the first 4. Now, as always, the centre 2 are the holding cords. They're going to hold the square knot, and the outer 2 cords are the working cords. And we're going to use the left-hand cord to make our L shape. Okay, that comes over the 2 holding cords, and I just hold it there with my thumb. And then I'm going to take the right-hand cord, which is going to come over in front of this L cord, but then it's going to go up almost diagonally through this L loop and pull that through. Okay, and then you just shuffle that up until you're close to the lark's head knots. Okay, so that's the half square knot, and to complete it, the right hand cord is going to come over the front of the holding cords and it makes like a P. Okay, and then the left hand cord is going to come over that P cord, up through the P loop, and there you go, just pull that so it fits. Okay, so there you have got your first square knot. All right, I won't take it off because it's secure there now. So if you need a refresher with the square knots, as I said, just have a practice or have a look at our beginner's knots tutorials. But I'm going to continue and I'm going to make another square knot, and then I'm going to carry on all the way across until I reach the right hand side. Okay, so you do that now and I'll meet you when we're done. Okay, so what we're now going to do is we're going to work an alternating square pattern. So the alternating square knot will join the previous 2 square knots. So to do that, for the first one, we don't use those first 2 cords. So I'm going to move them out of the way. And then I'm going to take the 2 right hand cords from this first square knot and the 2 left hand cords from the next square knot. And we're going to make another square knot. And what we're going to do is we're just going to increase, no, we're not going to increase, we're going to decrease the number of square knots as we go, and that will work into a point. Okay, so if I just take the next 4, cords, and I'm just going to work that alternating square knot pattern across to the other side of this row, and then when we get here we will have these 2 cords that are free because we don't use those in this row. Okay, and every time you start a new row you disregard the next 2 cords. Okay, so if I'll just complete this row. Such a simple pattern when you get into a rhythm, and then it's one of those patterns that you can use in so many different projects, and it just tightens the previous 2 square knots together. It just makes it a bit more secure. Okay, I always move my cords out of the way when I've used them, just because, especially now we're using long cords, they can get tangled. So if I just move them out of the way, I know which ones I've used, I know which ones are still needed to use. Okay, I've just got a couple more to make. Okay, 2 more. Okay, and 1 more for this row. And then, as I said, we've got the previous row, the last 2 cords that we don't need because we're decreasing the number of square knots that we use. Okay, so now for the next row I'm going to do exactly the same, so I can work back this way. So I'm going to disregard those 2 cords because we don't need those. Let's put all these other cords back into the centre, and then we're going to take, as always, 2 left and 2 right hand cords, and as you can see we're going to continue making that alternating square knot pattern, and what's going to happen is it will come in to a point. Okay, so if you continue that now until you get to the point, until you get to 1 square knot, and then I'll meet you when we're done. Okay, so I've continued the alternating square knot pattern and we've worked our way into a point. And what we're going to do now is we're going to outline the edging of the point with some double half hitch knots. So I'm taking the first cord from the outer edge, and this is going to be the filler cord, and we outline where we want our row of double half hitch knots to go. So I'm just going to hold it against the edge of this point, and we're going to make continuous double half hitch knots all the way down to the point. So just to recap, take it over the filler cord, through that loop, okay, and then pull it up, just secure it a bit, and then repeat for the double half hitch knot. And pull that up, okay, and there you go. There's one double half hitch knot done. Okay, and I'm going to continue that all the way down to the point. Okay, the cords are still quite long, so it takes quite a bit of feeding through. And when you do them, you want to pull them with the same tension so that the knots are sort of like the same size. If you pull them too hard, or too tight I should say, they'll become too small, or if you don't pull them tight enough, then they'll be too loose. Okay, so you want to just kind of judge so that they're all of a similar size. Not going to be perfect, but similar will do. Okay. There you go. So you're going to work all the way down to the point on this side, and then you're going to repeat on the other side until you get to the point as well. Okay, if you do that now, and I'll meet you when we're done. Okay, so I've completed both sides with the double half hitch knot, and what I'm going to do now is make the diamond pattern. So I'm going to carry on with the filler cord that I used from this side, and I'm going to make another 3 double half hitch knots. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Okay, and then working from the other side, I'm going to make another 3 double half hitch knots. One. There we go. Okay, now what I'm going to do inside of the diamond is I'm going to use the 6 cords, okay, and I'm going to, oh, hang on, oh, I've missed one. I've used the wrong cords. There's one. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to use the 6 cords that are in the centre of the diamond. I'm going to have 2 cords which are the holding cords, but my working cords for the square knot I'm going to use double, so it's like a double square knot. Okay, and then all you need to do is, before you pull it too tight, just make sure that you've got the nice pattern that the cords give. There you go. And then you're just going to carry on closing your diamond. So 1, 2, 2 double half hitch knots. And 3, and then from the other side I'm going to make 3 double half hitch knots, and then I'm going to make a 4th with the filler cord from this side. Okay, to close that diamond, join it together. Okay, so this is the 4th one. So you can see it's closing that diamond. And then you can just shuffle the square knot so it's in the centre. And I'm going to continue to make the top of a second diamond. Okay, now you can do as many diamonds as you want here. I'm just going to do a couple. 1. There we go. So exactly the same, and carry on from that side. So 1, 2, 3 double half hitches. Okay, another double square knot in the centre of this diamond. Okay, and then I'm just going to close the diamond. Just adjust the camera slightly so you can see. That's 1. Two, 3 on that side. Okay, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, and then I'm going to close that diamond with the 4th one. There. Okay, now it's at this point, if you did want to hang a crystal, then all I'd done was once I'd wrapped the crystal in a wire, and then I just threaded it onto this cord here so it hung at the bottom of the of the diamond. So you could do that if you wanted to. Okay, I've got another tutorial on here about how to wrap a crystal, so that might be worth having a look at. And then on the side, what I did on the olive wall hanging was I just made a simple plait. So it's just like plaiting hair. So you've got 3 cords, you cross one, then cross the other, so then that one goes into the centre, and then cross, cross, so that one goes into the centre. Okay, and it's just like plaiting hair. So I used to love plaiting my daughter's hair when she was little. She won't let me anywhere near it now, although I haven't tried for ages. I might have to ask her again. Okay. Now there are so many different macrame kind of braids and plaits that you can do, which again I will do another tutorial on those different braids, but this is just going to be a simple 3-strand plait, and you can see that that's just going to hang. I just need to untangle the ends of my cords because they're still quite long here. Where are we? There we go. So that will hang just nicely. So I'm going to continue that plait down that side, and I'm going to continue to make a plait on the opposite side. Okay, so if you want to do that now, and I'll see you when we're done. Okay, so we've got to this point where we've done the 2 diamonds and we've done the plaits either side, and now I just want to bring the bottom of the design together. So I did here a row of square knots, but then just to make the square knot pattern a little different, I left about 1 inch before I did the next square knot, and then similarly I left another gap, and then I repeated this square knot pattern at the bottom. Okay, so how you finish off your design is entirely up to you. Here's where I showed that I wrapped the crystal, and then I just threaded it onto this bottom cord. So as I say, how you complete the design is entirely up to you, but what I did here is, remember we're working in groups of 4, so I've got 4, 4, 4 and 4. So I could do 4 square knots here, which I think I will do, and then it will sort of like begin to hold the bottom of the design together rather than all these cords just hanging loose. Okay, so there's 1 square knot. Then I'm going to make another square knot. And make sure your cords are the right way around. Another square knot. Again, make sure that they're level-ish by eye. I just need to tidy up a bit because it's twisted a bit funny. There we go. Okay, so again, repeat that on the other side, then make another row of square knots, and if you want to repeat the top pattern, then repeat exactly what we did up here. Okay, right, so I'm just going to do a couple more rows, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, so we've got to this point where we've done the 2 diamonds and we've done the plaits either side, and now I just want to bring the bottom of the design together. So I did here a row of square knots, but then just to make the square knot pattern a little different, I left about 1 inch before I did the next square knot, and then similarly I left another gap, and then I repeated this square knot pattern at the bottom. Okay, so how you finish off your design is entirely up to you. Here's where I showed that I wrapped the crystal, and then I just threaded it onto this bottom cord. So as I say, how you complete the design is entirely up to you, but what I did here is, remember we're working in groups of 4, so I've got 4, 4, 4 and 4, so I could do 4 square knots here, which I think I will do, and then it will sort of like begin to hold the bottom of the design together rather than all these cords just hanging loose. Okay, so there's 1 square knot, then I'm going to make another square knot, and make sure your cords are the right way around. Another square knot, again make sure that they're level-ish by eye. That one I just need to tidy up a bit because it's twisted a bit funny. There we go. Okay, so again repeat that on the other side, then make another row of square knots, and if you want to repeat the top pattern, then repeat exactly what we did up here. Okay, right, so I'm just going to do a couple more rows and I'll see you in a second. Okay, so there we have the pattern for this wall hanging. As I say, if you want to repeat this top part, the decreasing square knot pattern, if you wanted to repeat that here at the bottom, you can, or you can just trim your cords here and fringe the bottom out just by brushing with a pet brush, or you could add beads and you can leave them as they are. So I think I'm just going to trim them here. So it's not going to be quite as long as the first one I made, just because I haven't repeated that one here. And there you go. There is your lovely wall hanging with decreasing square knot pattern, diamonds and a 3-strand plait. I really hope you've enjoyed that tutorial. If you have, please click like, subscribe, make sure the little bell thingy is on so you're notified when I upload more tutorials. Leave a comment below and yeah, I'll see you soon. Thanks, bye.